Hi, everyone, and welcome to SEO Close. Today, I'm super excited to be here with Lewis Smith. Lewis is a UK-based SEO who specializes in e-commerce and helping e-commerce websites get more organic sales. So welcome, Lewis.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on the show. I look forward to adding any value that I can.
You always share a lot of interesting and great tips on e-commerce, SEO. So how would you approach that? Like if you get a new e-commerce client and they want to optimize their website, how would you go about it? Where would you start?
Yeah, I think the first thing starting with is sort of seeing where the website's at, seeing what they've been doing. Is it an enterprise SEO client? They're doing big things, or is it a new website? So it's understanding where they are on their SEO journey. Look at what they've been doing. Look at what the plans are. Look at the system they've got in place. So have they got in-house writers? Have they been doing PR? Have they got web developers? And you sort of understand what exactly has been going on under the hood with the website. And then looking at the market, looking at what the competitors are doing, start to pull that data together, saying the competitors, look at what content clusters they've got, how the UX is performing on their website, looking at the backlink profile, and start to collaborate that data, and then start to make decisions on for the website. What you'll find is, I think a lot of SEO agencies, you'll send a Ahrefs report saying we've got 10,000 alt tags that need filling. We try to give value as quick as possible and saying what pages, what products can start bringing revenue in the quickest, and that's what you start to prioritize. Obviously looking at the technical foundations of a website, make sure broken links, redirect chains are fixed, but looking at what we can start giving the most value to the quickest. I think focusing on things like alt tags and stuff for the first month or two is not, it's not going to add value. They're not going to see results anytime soon from that. So we try to really focus on, the client and saying, right, we want to start getting you a return on your SEO, what you invest in, but also, looking at the longer term as well. Understanding exactly where the website's at, understanding the competitors and understanding the target market, putting the process in place and bringing all that together.
Sounds great. So I just read the post you put, how you took a e-commerce website from very, very low number of clicks per day to 700. What was your plan and your your strategy? And you also talk a lot about content for e-commerce and content clusters and silos and that sort of thing. How would you go about that as well?
Yeah, so this website, it was just products and category pages, and speaking to the client and the team. SEO is not coming in and optimizing the title tags for them, for products and collections. That's just sort of the baseline and the generic of SEO, of just making sure obviously the keywords are on page, and right, that's done, that's the baseline. Right, now we need to look at the target market. We need to look at what they're asking, and what question, what queries, and then looking at how we're going to funnel that around each category page and the products that's within it. So for each category, there's going to be questions around that, and even the products, the products slightly differ within each category page, so they're going to have questions around that as well. And how you cluster that content and how you internal link that content is going to it's going to send positive signals out to Google, and they're going to understand it's a good customer experience. You're answering all the questions. You funneled it in a way where they can click through and get answers pretty quick. They're not having to click 7 clicks deep into a site to find answers to questions they want answering. And then building links to them clusters and finding niche relevant links. Google's come a long way in understanding what links are. They understand what websites are about. They understand what websites are linking to other websites. As much as you cluster information in your website, Google understands the clustering of websites together. Websites about sports, they understand each website links to each other. Websites about fashion, you want to see bloggers talking about fashion linking to your product pages, category pages. They're the links that matter. So yeah, that's we looked at the target market and then started to build that content for them, and then, as I said, build the links to it. get that crawled, and then continuously testing, monitor the Google console. Is anything getting impressions? Right, this content needs updating. It's not adding any value. And yeah, that was the process.
And so some SEOs just focus on just the category pages and not the product pages. Do you think we should focus on both, or it depends on the type of the product, or how would you approach that?
Yeah, no, I'd 100% go in on the products as well. You'll find a lot of products rank well, so optimizing them, can bring gold to your website. If you're, the same goes with, this is why you've got to build content as well. Internal links are bloodlines of a website, and if you're not building content for your target market, you've not really got any potential for internal links. Products can link in between each other as well, but you can create buying guides, your best ofs, and they're going to build them internal links to them products. And what you'll find is you'll get sales from them as well. Get them ranking. But yeah, category pages are very important. They're your hub page, and they're the hub page of your product. So building the relevance on them, building content underneath your products, get them ranking, and then build them clusters around them category pages. So yeah, I wouldn't turn my back on products. I'd make sure they're pretty important as well.
And for category pages, some clients don't like to add, a bit of text at the top. What do you think of that? And is this like the way you do it, or how would you handle that?
Yeah, this is an ongoing debate. You go to some websites and you'll find 300 words at the top. Obviously, most customers are searching through the mobile now, so if you're displaying all that at the top, you're going to hit conversion, you're going to hit trouble. So have just a couple of lines saying what the page is, the benefits of the products, and that's it. And you can hide it behind a drop down if they want to go deeper. And then underneath the products, I like to add FAQ. So if you can add any value on that page to say, there might be a really searched query around the page. So if you can answer that on that page underneath the products, it's going to add value. If you want to talk about delivery, etc., at the bottom, there's always a lot of value you can have just underneath. I think a lot of over the years, a lot of businesses didn't add that, and it's becoming more common now, and it definitely helps with conversions. But yeah, at the top, just add a line or two. I wouldn't just add the keyword. Nike do it very well. They just have just a keyword and it works for them. Same with Adidas. But generally medium-sized business, I think it's going to add a lot of value if you just add a couple of lines.
And for product pages, what would a good how would you describe a good product page? Like, how would you say, okay, these are the criteria, and I think this for a well optimized product page?
Yeah, so for a product page, keyword and title. What I like to do, I still go to business today and they'll just talk about the product, of how wonderful it is. Within that right hand side of the product image, just talk about how it, this product X solves the issue for your problem. Touch on the customer's problem, or touch on the desire. Millennials want to wear 400 or 500 pound trainers for a reason. It's a certain desire status they want to get to, so just cover that within the product there. Underneath the product, go more in depth on the description of it. Talk about it. Even you can create header threes at the bottom, and just talk about the product. Delivery, and any questions, FAQs, put them in. Depending on what niche you're in, you could even have a little YouTube video at the bottom about the product. Same goes with category page as well. YouTube video at the bottom, just if it's going to add any value. It's going to enhance, get the sale. Yeah, just it used to be just image, little description. By now you can get very creative with product pages now, so enrich the page, add value. It's the same with social proof as well. A lot of people go with Trustpilot, with the stars, or any social proof you can add. I'd definitely get that on as well.
Great. That's I like the video because a lot of people forget about it or don't think it's valuable, but I do think it helps a lot, in ranking, and I also think it helps in conversion. So that's a really good point that you mentioned here. So what would you say is the common issues you find with websites, when you start working on them? What common in e-commerce websites? What are common pitfalls or issues that needs to be fixed that are very common. And I know that right now it's very common for people to use, Shopify. So is there any specific, something that's so common and you usually fix it, or you usually come across it?
Yeah, I think one of the most common ones is products being accessible by, say, like, for example, 6 different URL structures when you start to create filters. With no handling on that. So what you find is your product duplicated across many URLs. Obviously, search engine is going to come to that and say, well, what's going on with this product? What's going on with these pages? So I find that's a very common one that needs fixing. In terms of Shopify, URL structures, same with category pages, duplicated, not handled right. Pagination is a big one. Google's come out and said what they want to see in pagination. Not fixing that, you're going to run into problems. As long as you're making it clear that page 1 of your category, pagination, that's the signal. This is the one we want to rank. You should be fine with that. Also, internal linking as well. What you'll find on home pages is businesses are not optimizing for which is the most important pages, linking to the hub pages. It's important to understand, page rank and looking at what pages are linking to what pages, and how that juice is being passed around. I think a lot of businesses sleep on that and just link out to, non-important pages. And there's some amazing tools now. Like I had a call with Jet Octopus the other day, and their tool really visualizes, especially enterprise SEO, of how deep websites go. What you'll find is, depending on how many products you've got, you could have, 5,000 pages that only have 1 or 2 links coming into them. That's a typical problem with e-commerce. So identifying them pages that could add a lot of value in the index, you could get sales from them, and looking at how to improve on that. Yeah, that's off the top of my head, but yeah, any questions on them?
Yeah, I agree, because sometimes it's just one link literally to something, or maybe they don't link to it at all for some unknown reason. And of course this would impact their performance. So how about seasonality? Like, how would you take it into plan when you're laying out your content strategy, for example?
Yeah, so content strategy, like I said, it's always, I find a lot of businesses, so for example, Valentine's, they'll produce a quick post, push that out with no real value, and expect to start bringing lots of traffic in for Valentine's and linking to 1 or 2 products. And it's important, if you write, a great post for Valentine's, and it starts bringing in traffic, update it next year. You could start bringing in that same traffic again. If Google's always seen it relevant already, update it again, get it ranking, and start to, not just one, but start to create these little content buckets. So if it's about Valentine, it's SEO's compounding. It's not just quick fixes. So let's create a little content bucket around Valentine's, for Easter and Christmas, and get that recognized, get links to it, and then same again for the next season. It's going to all over there. It's going to be indexed. It's got links to it. Just needs updating for the most relevant products and for the target market. That's big. I think a lot of businesses, especially with AI coming out now, they're just blasting out poor content. It's just spamming the index of Google. So it's important to value, and I think this is why copywriters have always been, essential, but I think now more than ever they can really stand out and, get your content quality, get it indexed, give value to the search engine, but also give value to the target market as well. And I think that's how you're going to win overall in SEO.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It's not sufficient to just, create a post and think you're gonna win the internet. It doesn't work that way. You need a plan, right? So yeah, it's good to highlight that. But I mean, sometimes the clients just don't understand how SEO works, right? So and I mean, it's part of the job to educate them, but and make sure that we have a common understanding of the process and how long it takes and the effort behind it. But one thing I came across recently so many times is that many clients, they want to optimize their websites, but they're not willing to change, for example, the content or create new content, right?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this? Because I feel like personally, I feel this is a very big challenge, and it's like a bottleneck, right? Like you're literally, whatever you're doing, you're gonna, it's just, there's a limit to what you can do without making a lot of changes to the content.
Yeah, I totally agree on this. I'm big on that with you. You go to some businesses, you start working with them, and even some of the like small to medium-sized business, it's almost working with like a big brand like Nike. You're trying to get these changes done, and then they're passing it around between the team, and I think in SEO, you've almost got to be quite political. You've got to get on a call with them. You've got to create videos and say, look, we need this content. This is what needs to happen, or these changes have to happen to the content. And of course, we back that up with data. We go to console, we go to tools like SEMrush and Ahrefs. Compare it against the competitors. And I think I always, just try and be political with it and say, well, we do need it, and as long as we're backing it up with the data, that gives us better choice. But yeah, I understand. We conflict all the time with businesses saying, we can't update this, or some of the bigger teams will always have, a brand manager or someone in place that's trying to like say, no, we don't need this, and it's like, no, we do, because it's in the customer journey. Like the top three competitors have got this, and we need it as well. And so yeah, I think there's always going to be that confliction there, but as long as you're backing it up with data, and not just saying they think you're not just saying it off the top of your head. We've got the data, the competitors are doing it. It's in Google Console. We're getting impressions for this page, but we've not got it on the website. We should have the best chance of getting it changed or getting a new post live.
Yeah, totally agree with you. Thank you so much, Lewis, for today. And I've learned personally a lot, and you have a wealth of e-commerce SEO tips, to be honest. And I encourage anyone to follow you, especially people, of course, focus on e-commerce. And thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, great, I've enjoyed it, and it's of course great to meet you face to face. Same with you, you put out a lot of valuable content. I think a lot of people get great value from you, so it's just great to connect and get on chatting about SEO.
Yeah, I was actually very interested, to talk to you and get your thoughts on things. And I really enjoy following you. So thank you for being here today.
Likewise, thank you.